Hello, I'm Toycat, and a lot of people have been asking exactly how I got bit by a wild rat, twice by the way, but we've got far more important questions about 1.20 because this week we saw some confirmation they're working on it because according to this bug fix on Mojang's bug fix tracker, there is a vibration particle issue which they're going to be fixing in version 1.20 plus. This is a confirmation that it's not coming in 1.19.1 or 1.19.2. They do know a fix, they are going to be adding it just to that next big version of the game. And so what do I think about this is what can be asked. Will we even be seeing snapshots or betas soon? I'm going to say probably not on the snapshots and betas because right now they are still working on bug fixes for 1.19. 1.19.2 is just in release candidate phase as I make this video, so it's probably going to be coming out pretty darn soon. And then there's also, so there's some staff working on that, not all of them obviously, it doesn't take 200 people to make a bug fix. There's some staff who are on their holidays, vacations, summertime is apparently the big time people like to take time off, but also the other thing is that Minecraft generally, for their previous updates, have followed the rule of announcing the update first, giving us a hype trailer based on really early in-game things, and then later bringing out the snapshots. This is kind of the, even though they're working on 1.20, they might be putting code together for it, they might be putting ideas together for it. However, now is the preliminary phases where they're going to be working out what they're doing in the next 6 to 12 months. Once those have solidified, once they know what they're doing a bit more, they announce the trailer, and then a few weeks or months after that is when we see live snapshots or betas that we can play with. Obviously, this might be a 6-month-long update cycle starting from the last one, so we might be in the last 5 months off this, in which case either Minecon Live is going to have to happen really early this year, we're talking September rather than October, or they're going to start the snapshot beta process before Minecraft Live, but I imagine that it will be the sort of thing that we'll hear more about later. So no snapshots or betas yet, but this is the time that things are going to be happening with, and so do I know when 1.20 is going to be revealed? I am 95% certain it's Minecraft Live. Minecraft Live is a big live show they tried to do, and one of the biggest hype event, one of the big things that gets people to watch it is this big Minecraft announcement. Obviously there's stuff like the mob vote and like that, but they've got lots of other initiatives they love to announce, the reasons they're doing good as a company, and they need to have some some content about the game to keep people watching for those things. It's that's how the show works to some extent, and that's something they want to make sure they're doing, I would say. So when are we seeing 1.20 announced? When Minecraft Live happens, which doesn't have a fixed date yet, but we're going to be seeing an announcement for that fairly soon. So yeah, we're only a few weeks away from the announcement of 1.20, maybe even less. Speaking of things we might be even less, do you think spectator mode will come out before 1.20? I do not actually think so. I think that a lot of people are having these ideas about like, well, will 1.19.30 start adding all these big things? I think that if 1.20, especially if it's a 6-month update cycle, they probably put all their feature ideas right into that. When there's a big time between updates, we tend to see lots more bug fixes adding major things. Obviously, 1.19.1 with its... Was there anything controversial in 1.19.1? I don't think so. I think I would have heard about it if there was something bad in there. But like, 1.19.1 and 10 had ally duplication and whatever else people care about on the internet. But then it also, that's kind of the important thing. Also, realistically, Mojang has one more chance with 1.20 to gain back their reputation after past events. What do you think the best way is for Mojang to gain back their reputation for the 1.20 update? This is my take now. So everything we know so far is that it's probably going to be happening at Minecraft Live. We know they're probably doing the early phases and we'll be seeing that stuff soon. But what do I think they should do to get their reputation back after this whole shenanigans situation? Well, first of all, tweak the chat reporting. Throw people a bone and say, okay, here are some things we're not banning for. Show people chat statistics and show like, okay, only 600 people were banned in the last month or in the last, show that the numbers are really small and show how they have make an appeal process and all these things that are required for adding so much power into a system. But then also it's important to knock it out of the park regarding what happens in 1.20. There is a small split in the community of people playing older versions because they want to avoid all of this. You've got to make things that are cool enough they go, okay, actually, I want this new version. Because right now, all they're giving up is ally duplication. It is important, if you want to keep players safe, that's Mojang's thing, that you make as great an update as they can. And I also think that's important because the last 3 updates, they've been way behind. They've been on the back foot this whole time. Like, Caves and Cliffs got split, then it got split again, kind of, with some of it coming in later. And although those features improved, it's not as catchy to the end user, so they've got to announce something. That thing should be cool, and then they should deliver that thing, and maybe, if they want to go crazy, deliver slightly more than that thing. That is what I think they have to do. Will they be able to do it? That's a different question. Speaking of different questions, you know what? Do you what would be my educated guess on what 1.20 might be? A lot of people have been saying end update. I could show you all the comments saying 1.20 will definitely be an end update. I think that this is the community's zeitgeist. I don't think it's the most, I don't think it's the thing that is most likely to happen, however, because Mojang do have a lot of ideas for updates. They say they plan the next 2 to 3 updates in advance, so they've had these ideas kind of set in stone for a while, and I feel as though an end update is on the cards. It makes sense, it would be cool, but I think for 1.20, especially if it's a 6-month update, they don't have, based on the last few 6-month updates, they can't just entirely reinvigorate the end system, so they're gonna have to work out something else, or maybe they've already worked out something else. There's something they're very excited about, and I'm curious about what it is, but I have no clue. But my educated guess is we're gonna take another overworld biome with a neglected structure or 2. In fact, maybe we could just take a few more overworld biomes and start updating those in different ways, and then add a cave biome, and then we can call it something kind of crazy, or maybe they're gonna go in an entirely different direction. I do think, though, that we've seen underwater, we've seen jungles and villages, and now we've got the swamps obviously updated too. What are the other, and mountains too because of caves and cliffs, what are the other biomes that really need an update? I look at that and I say maybe the snow mechanics. I look at that and I say maybe the desert and the hot mechanics. We've seen a lot of desert features be almost voted for in previous years. But 1.20, there's a lot of good ideas that could be in there, but I'm not too sure. By the way, I thoroughly enjoyed being tricked by the first puzzle. I can't wait to be tricked by the second one too, says Dasher. So yeah, I said last week I would give you an answer to this puzzle right here. Which of these items does not naturally spawn in chest loot? And this one isn't that good of a trick, but I like it as well. It is just the raw iron. Raw iron doesn't generate anywhere naturally besides the ores because it's always been iron ingots. It's a new item and they didn't retroactively add it to chests. I do think that adding raw iron to chests could be a good way to balance certain super OP early game chests, but that's just me personally. Speaking of me personally, okay, should we go back? Rat Bite update, ask Salcazol. How exactly did... I figured I'm gonna have to explain this to someone at some point. So yesterday, Thursday, Wednesday, so 4 days ago, I do know my sense of time, I got bit by a wild rat, and it started bleeding a little bit. I'll censor this picture, but it started bleeding a little bit, and it was in that concerning blood clotty way, and I was like, ooh, that's kind of a rough one, huh? I figured, I wouldn't care about the bite themselves, but I did realize that, if there's one animal you don't want to be bitten by, it's probably a rat. If there's one animal we associate with disease, and, I've had issues with wild rats being in my sewage. I don't know why wild rats like sewage. I don't like sewage. I wouldn't eat it, but they would, and so the fact that they would eat sewage and then they also eat my finger is a little bit, or they bite my finger. They didn't do that well, but why exactly did I end up with a rat biting me? So I figured, just to set the scene here, there is this area, it's near London Bridge if you're curious. There's this area where I always see rats, and so I was walking past there as part of my evening activities, quite late, maybe midnight with a group of friends. Who knows what we were up to, walking around London at that time. But we were looking for this place which we were trying to go into at midnight, and my friends spot the rats, and they're like, oh, the cute little free pets. And I was like, they are free pets, aren't they? And just grabbing a rat is impossible. So I think it'd be funny to go and yeah, look, I'm gonna go grab a rat. But the thing is, apparently me, with my senses all out of whack from a whole evening of who knows what, apparently I, with those abilities, can actually grab, it was scurrying along the top of the bin, and I grabbed it like that, and I succeeded. I actually grabbed a whole, it was huge too, by the way. I grabbed this huge rat in my hands, and then apparently wild rats do not like it when you pick them up that way, because he bit me once here, and my brain didn't react in time, because then he bit me quite hard here, and then I let go. So I guess the rat was onto something there. Bite the hands of the thing that's on you. I don't know how rats have the... Anyway, whatever. The rat decided to bite me. He got me away, and then I was bleeding on the street, and I was like, well, I probably should end the evening here. I was thinking... I tried to get into... It's funny, actually. I didn't even think that. I was like, well, you know, the thing, this is just some bites, right? It's nothing that bad. But again, rats' mouths, mice mouths, wild animals have been in some places. This is how people get the plague or whatever else. We don't have rabies in the UK, thankfully, so I knew it wasn't that. But I figure, what about tetanus? What about, I just need to, get, a medical professional to confirm I'm gonna be okay. And so, yeah, I figured, but first, I don't want to abandon my friends. So we tried to go into the last place of the evening. It turns out that was the one place that asked for ID for me, right? And I was like, well, this is a sign that I should go to the hospital. So after they didn't let me in, you know, maybe they only asked for ID because my fingers were bleeding from a wild rat bite. But you know what would have been fun, by the way? If the rat didn't bite me, if he just didn't have teeth or whatever, I could have had a rat inside of this. You know, anyway, long story short, this is the stupidest thing. You know, it's not the stupidest thing I've done. It's not even in the top 10. But this is a stupid mistake I make, and I'm only telling you about it because I spent 4 hours waiting in a hospital just for a person to go laugh at me a little bit. They had to inject me with a tetanus shot because I haven't had one since I was a child. And you know, it's a rare thing, but they maybe got to do it. They cleaned out the wound. It hurt. They threw some alcohol in there and then probably dug around, get it all out. It was painful. They had to put this on there, and now this is bleeding, it looks like. I'm not even sure. Long story short, don't get bit by a rat. That is what I've learned from my experience. I mean, really the lesson is don't try and pick up a rat that is wild. You know, if an animal might bite you, don't try and pick it up. That's my new rule for life. Speaking of new rules for life, destroying an ancient city livestream when, says GenCrafts. That's an entirely ridiculous idea, because think about how long it would take to destroy an ancient city. I would say easily, you know, 10 hours or something. I mean, imagine destroying an ancient city. I can't imagine that, that's for sure. Speaking of things I can't imagine, the next question is from 309 Electronics. You say Mojang, but is it not also Microsoft? Mojang and Microsoft implemented the account migration and thus this annoying chat feature. And yeah, it is true, everyone gets called a doommonger, but when it comes to Microsoft, they're always integrating their weird Microsoft services into the game right now, and that does include to some extent this is clearly a legal repercussion they're trying to avoid. And so yeah, when I'm saying that Mojang added this chat, this chat feature, are we really not saying that Microsoft did it? And the answer is yes and no, right? Yes and no. Although Microsoft owns Mojang, and they definitely put the pressure on to do these things, I think in reality, I think if they really wanted to, Mojang could work out, it's Mojang who is in charge of the implementation of these broad objectives, and although they probably get some things sent from above, most of Microsoft business units operate kind of independently. I'm only saying that because Mojang themselves keep repeating that, yes, we make our decisions, not Microsoft. People who work there say, yeah, we decide for ourselves. And so, yeah, I imagine it's just being pressured from the top. I don't imagine it's being told what to do, except if they ignore the pressure, which, again, there's this question of well, is it really them who's deciding if they know that if they don't decide, a decision will be made for them? But that's a bigger question about free will, right? You can decide to do whatever you want, but if you decide to go and I don't know, go be homeless on the streets of a big city somewhere, then eventually if you decide that your thing you want to do is going to involve someone moving you along. Yeah, I'm just trying to say there's limits on what you can actually choose to do for yourself before other people start choosing for you, which influences the choices you make for yourself, right? Speaking of influencing choices you make for yourself, what is a good Minecraft player? I never point... I can't use this. Oh, yeah, that hurts. What is a good Minecraft player? I never point to any of my friends and say, yeah, they're a really good Minecraft player. I'd say most people... Okay, so this is because, you're not a good Minecraft player if you don't do X, is a thing people will say. I think this is mostly pointed at YouTubers. A lot of people put this, hero worship level onto, especially YouTubers who are known for, let's say... embellishing, maybe faking, but let's say embellishing their YouTube videos to make them look like they're amazing at all the elements of Minecraft. And yeah, so there's some YouTubers that are like that, and so you think to yourself, just watching their raw, edited down, scripted product, oh my god, they're so good at the game, and in reality it's they're so good at the game or not. And the answer is that yeah, people on YouTube statistically are better than average at a game, but not by the level where they are the best players in the world. And I think that when it comes to Minecraft, being a good player doesn't even really make sense. Like, when you're trying to do something like PvP, you know, like, I think, objectively, Technoblade was good at PvP, right? When you tried to do something like, you know, like speedrunning, like, there are speedrunners who are literally best in the world at that. There are like lots of skills you need for that, and these skills kind of translate to the end player. But the cool thing about Minecraft is you don't need to be a good player to enjoy it, and ultimately it doesn't really matter inside your own world. You are in literally your own world, separated from everyone else, and so you can be as bad at the game as you like, and that's the beautiful thing. By the way, bro, it's a block game. Why are you talking about politics? First of all, I don't think we talk about politics that often, but second of all, this is a thing people say a lot, like, oh, this is Minecraft. Why are you talking about non-Minecraft things? I'm sure there's someone here who is like, Toycat, why did you talk about your rat bite? I'd like to hear about what's coming in 1.20. By the way, clearly rats. If they bite you, you gotta stop playing Minecraft for 4 hours and sit in a room while you wait for someone to laugh. It was a very silly thing. I'm glad they laughed at me. But speaking of things that I'm glad I got laughed about, what talking about politics is something which, although I don't think people should ham-handedly throw into everywhere, the reality is for a lot of people, especially if you're in the adult world, it is a part of life. Politics are you know, like as we saw in the last 2 years, even though politics can often be a far distant thing, the political decisions we made over the last 2 years affected all of our lives on a day-to-day basis. Like it's, and you know, like it seems as though that's something that's going to keep on happening. Even stuff like, oh yeah, the political decisions you make are affecting the, you know, like the economic growth or stagnation of your country right now. The economic policies they go into response are going to decide whether you're going to get a job or not. Like that, everything is politics to some extent. And so saying people shouldn't talk about it, you know, like it's not a great place to do all the time. Try to do it in good company. But I think saying, yeah, you can't do it because it's Minecraft is like, well, if you're not down with it, the great thing is you're allowed to not watch videos if they get into politics. And that is why I think you should vote for the party. And yeah, I really love those guys. I think it's finally time I come out and I say that you got to do that. But things that you should also vote for include Minecraft Live, where 1.20 will be announced. I've said this before, but I'm saying it again. 1.20 is this like big time. It's a big turning point. It's a big milestone. What, you know, we're hopping over to a new digit. They might even decide to go with a different naming system. It's a big opportunity to say, yeah, during the pandemic we had a bad time with a few updates, but now we're back to being the Mojang, you know, 1.13 to 1.16. You know, like we're gonna have a update that good, or an update that's gonna be in 6 months. It's gonna be delivered on time. It's gonna have the features they say. It's gonna actively improve the game. I hope that they get one of those things down, and I think the time we're gonna see it is at Minecraft Live, which is gonna be at sometime the next month. But that means now is the best time to be throwing ideas out there, in my opinion. And so maybe we should do just that. Maybe you should do just that. But maybe, in either case, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I did this as like one solid cut so I could do the camera, just so I could show off my little bite, actually. You know, I should have done that. This could have been done as an audio-only video, but I hope you all enjoyed Q&A Saturday featuring the face cam. If you did, then maybe like, maybe subscribe, and maybe I'll see you in the next one if I give you a bribe. I said that for the rhyme. I'm not giving you any money. You know, would you like some money? Let's see what I've got on me. I've got a cable. Would you like a USB cable? One person who comments below this video will not get this USB cable because it doesn't work. I plugged it into so many places on Wednesday and it didn't charge. And I'm just saying, if you're going to be in a hospital for 4 hours, you want a charged phone. Which is why, pro tip, if you first bring a good cable around with you, and if you are if you are thinking of picking up a wild animal, make sure you've got a fully charged phone before you do it. Okay, yep, thank you for watching. Goodbye.